Breaking news! There's a growing storm brewing in Baltimore, and it's not coming from Lamar, Derrick Henry, or even Zay Flowers. No, this one is flying under the radar, exceeding expectations, and turning heads in OTAs in a way that's starting to spark serious conversation. This is a player whose name barely made headlines on draft night. But now what? He could be on track to become one of the Ravens' most intriguing weapons in 2025. What's happening behind the scenes could reshape the team's offensive and special team strategies, but you won't hear that anywhere else. But before we go any further, be sure to like this if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always great to see fans of all ages cheering for this team. And if you'd like, comment Go Ravens right now. Now let's talk about the story of Legendy Wester and why his name could be the one fans will be chanting mid-season. Let's talk about Legendy Wester. The sixth-round pick came into Baltimore with questions. Some doubted his size, others questioned his hands. But 1 week into OTAs, Wester is quickly turning those doubts into potential headlines. The narrative is starting to shift, and fans need to pay attention. Wester, standing 5 feet 10 inches and weighing just 163 pounds, shares a similar profile with Zay Flowers, who's 5 feet 9 inches and 174 pounds. That led to a fair bit of skepticism during the draft, particularly over the redundancy in the receiver room. But talent can force coaches to reconsider the playbook, and so far, that's exactly what's happening. Ryan Mink reported that Wester not only hauled in a deep touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson, but he did it while juggling the ball mid-flight and still securing the score. Moments like that don't go unnoticed, especially when they come off passes from QB1. It's also worth noting that Wester is already receiving snaps with the first team. While it may be too early to declare him a key contributor, the simple fact that he's working with Lamar this early is a sign of serious trust, or at the very least, curiosity, from the coaching staff. But here's the real curveball. Wester's relative athletic score wasn't elite. In fact, it was docked heavily due to his height and weight. Still, he managed a 4.47 40-yard dash, and that straight-line speed is beginning to translate on the practice field. However, the elephant in the room is still his hands. Over his 5 collegiate seasons, 4 at Florida Atlantic and 1 at Colorado, he registered 30 drops. That's a concerning figure, no matter how you slice it. The NFL simply doesn't have room for receivers who can't reliably catch. So why are the Ravens taking the chance? Because Wester's ceiling is undeniable. He was one of the most productive receivers in NCAA history. With 326 career receptions, he's top 10 all time. His final 2 seasons alone saw him snag over 180 passes, rack up more than 2,000 yards, and notch 18 touchdowns. Add another 8 scores from the year prior, and you're looking at 26 touchdowns over his last 3 collegiate campaigns. That kind of output demands attention. Everywhere Wester has played, his coaches have prioritized getting the ball in his hands, whether it's on screens, deep routes, or quick hitters. His playmaking ability is real, and that's why even in a stacked Ravens offense, he might just find a role. Still, let's keep it real. The depth chart is crowded. Zay Flowers is entrenched in the slot. DeAndre Hopkins joining the team only cements that alignment further. Add Rashad Bateman, tight ends Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and the rushing threat of Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, and a returning Keaton Mitchell, and you begin to realize that offensive touches will be hard to come by for a 6th-round rookie. But that's not the full story. Wester's real value to the 2025 Ravens might be on special teams. Eric DeCosta highlighted his returnability as a key asset, calling him twitchy and explosive. With 66 career punt returns for 740 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 at Colorado, 1 at FAU, Wester has a proven track record as a dynamic returner. His average of 11.2 yards per return is strong, and it's exactly the kind of edge the Ravens special teams unit thrives on. Now, here's what I want to know from you. Do you believe Legendy Wester can crack the regular offensive rotation this year, or is his path to impact strictly through special teams? What role do you see him playing as the season progresses? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because when you start peeling back the layers of this Ravens roster, you realize how razor-thin the margin is for a player like Legendy Wester to earn significant offensive reps. But sometimes, it's the special teams impact that serves as the launching pad into a larger role, and Wester might just be walking that very path. Think about this. The Ravens are in a rare position where they don't need Wester to be a breakout offensive star immediately, but that also gives them the luxury of developing him at their own pace, using special teams as the proving ground. In that space, Wester isn't just filling a roster spot. He's auditioning for more. And the moment he breaks a long return in a regular season game, especially one that changes the momentum or leads to a win, fans and coaches alike will start clamoring for him to get touches in the offense. Remember what John Harbaugh and this coaching staff have always valued: versatility, special teams excellence, and dependability. If Wester shows he can consistently secure punts, gain positive yards, and create explosive plays on returns, he forces the coaching staff into a dilemma. You don't keep lightning in a bottle on the sidelines. You find ways to unleash it. And here's where it gets really interesting. What if an injury occurs? Not that anyone ever hopes for that, but the NFL is a long, brutal season. All it takes is one injury to a starting receiver, Hopkins, Flowers, Bateman, and suddenly, the door flies open for Wester. And if he's already been contributing as a returner, already earning trust with secure hands and smart decision-making, that transition into more offensive snaps becomes far more natural. We've seen this story before. Late-round picks or undrafted guys who grind their way through special teams, capitalize on a few snaps, and then suddenly become fixtures in the offense. Could Wester be next in line? If you look at the character and profile of the players this organization tends to favor, guys who are hungry, overlooked, and chip on their shoulder types, Wester fits right in. He's not just competing for a roster spot. He's fighting to prove everyone wrong, including those who passed on him for 5.5 rounds of the NFL draft. And while the national media might still be sleeping on him, Baltimore's coaching staff definitely isn't. Ryan Mink's observation about Wester's touchdown reception from Lamar wasn't just a training camp fluff piece. It's a signal. A message that this kid isn't just here to participate. He's here to disrupt. Now let's not pretend he's suddenly jumping over guys like Flowers or Hopkins on the depth chart. That's not realistic. But if he keeps flashing this kind of playmaking ability, if he proves reliable on returns, limits those drop issues, and shows he can handle the physicality of the pro game, he's going to make this team. And once that happens, the rest becomes a matter of opportunity, timing, and execution. We've talked about rookies breaking out before. Some rise and fade. Others find their role and evolve. The Ravens haven't seen a true homegrown breakout from the return game since Devin DuVernay, and with his role shifting and uncertain, Wester might just be walking into that opening at the perfect time. So here's the final question I'll leave with you today. Do you think Legendy Wester has what it takes to become the next great Ravens return specialist? Or will he surprise everyone and carve out a meaningful role on offense too? Absolutely. Let's keep going. Because while Wester's role in 2025 may begin on special teams, that doesn't mean it ends there. The Ravens have a long history of developing talent from unexpected places. From undrafted free agents to 6th and 7th rounders who turn heads during camp, this franchise knows how to cultivate potential. And if Wester continues trending upward through minicamp and into training camp, we might see this narrative evolve a lot quicker than anyone anticipated. Take a look at the internal dynamics of this receiver room. Zay Flowers is undoubtedly the centerpiece of the slot game, but with DeAndre Hopkins drawing outside coverage and Bateman expected to play a hybrid X/Z role, that could create more packages that utilize additional slot receivers, or at the very least, keep defenses guessing. Greg Roman is gone. Todd Monken is known for his adaptability and willingness to explore different personnel combinations. If Wester forces the issue, Monken could create specific formations that give him touches in space, screens, quick slants, or motion-based plays designed to take advantage of his agility and vision. What can't be overlooked either is how fast Wester has earned respect internally. You don't get reps with the starting quarterback during your first week of OTAs unless you've already impressed someone upstairs. That trust doesn't come from just speed. It comes from discipline in route running, understanding timing, absorbing the playbook quickly, and of course, catching the ball consistently in traffic and under pressure. And let's not forget, special teams can be a springboard. We've seen it with players like Devin Hester, Cordarrelle Patterson, and even a young Tyreek Hill, who began as returners before becoming offensive focal points. Wester's college resume as a returner is elite.